personal positions. First question, Sean.
We know that there's a project located on Victory Boulevard between Victory and Topeka and Owens Mouth called the Village. Our benefactor this evening is the one that's looking to build that project. It's one of the largest projects in the West San Fernando Valley. The project's been approved by the City of Los Angeles, but it's now embroiled in litigation. Do you support the Westfield Village project, or do you oppose it, and why? I'd like to start on this question with Bob Blumenfield.
Well, I'm not going to give a straight support or oppose at this point. I mean, as you mentioned, it was approved. It's going through litigation. I want to carefully monitor with all projects. Part of the way that the council member is going to operate is to work with the community, with the neighborhood councils, and basically work to make development that is both smart and effective. We need to grow jobs in the area. We need development that works. Conceptually, this is a good project that's there, and we want to move it forward in a sensible way.
Very good. Next, the question goes next to Joyce Pearson.
Okay, it is in litigation, and it's in litigation from the WHO and other members of the community. It is the last, I'll say, step. Once an approval has been made, any one of you that does not agree with the project has the right to file a lawsuit, and that's what happened here. Now, it's unfortunate because the Costco, basically the biggest part of the Westfield project is Costco, and Costco is a good project. The project is good, but certain people believe the plan was not, including the neighborhood council. I happen to believe that right now we're better off getting the plan to go and actually have a councilman that would sit down and move it forward would be very helpful. That's what I would do.
Next, Court Carey. Carey.
That's right, Sean. Let's see, the Village. I support the Village. I think it's a good project. We need development, we need jobs, we need the tax revenue that it brings. I don't dispute the right of individuals or organizations to litigate it and to make sure that the neighbors in the area are happy with what they're getting. I mean, it will impact with traffic and things like that, whether it's a Costco or some other form of business, there is going to be an increase in traffic. But, you know, my family, even though we live in Reseda, we travel to the Westfield properties at least a couple times a week. And, you know, you deal with the traffic. Why? Because the benefits you have of shopping at places like the mall or the promenade or eventually the Village outweigh the fact that, yeah, it might take you a few minutes longer. I understand the impact locally, and that's why there is neighborhood councils in place to you know, give a recommendation to the council person on what they think should happen or shouldn't happen. And the council person definitely needs to weigh that. But I think in this case, the benefits far outweigh the negative aspects of the project. So I'd like to see it move forward.
Thank you. Next is Scott Silverstein.
Well, I'm inherently involved, or was involved with the Village project. I do completely support your right to litigate the issue. Do I agree necessarily? No. I think the project should move forward. Where else could you get $1.50 for a hot dog and a drink? But the issue is not the Costco. The issue is not the rest of the project. The rest of the project is a great project. The issue is the one thing. There's a gas station as part of this project. It's on the corner of Owens Mouth and Victory. And you know how many people sit in a gas station at a Costco. And it can potentially be a real problem with traffic. So in my business, all we do is negotiate real estate deals. Why don't we just sit down with Costco and tell them you want to move this ahead, move the gas station off the corner. And I bet you that deal will get moving again. But you're talking about a $650 million push to our economy that right now is in the tank. The West Valley is hurting. Encino, Sherman Oaks, doing much better, believe it or not, than Warner Center. And that is something that we need to do. We need the construction jobs. We need the retail jobs. We need the office jobs that are going to be in there. And I do support the project.
Thank you. Thank you. Next, Stephen Pressburg.
I agree, Scott, we need the jobs, we need the retail action. I think it's unfortunate, but it could be that our current city council member has other things on his mind and is otherwise distracted. But I think that an effective city council member would be able to work out these remaining differences. I'll say that I've looked at the objections that the Woodland Hills homeowners have, and they are not spurious objections. Whether or not they hold up in court, I couldn't say, but they are not spurious objections, and I think we'll have to wait and see what the court says.
Very good. And finally, Elizabeth Betty.
I support anything that's going to bring revenue into our city. I support Warner Center, who have the Warner Neighborhood Council, who have committed 7 years of their time in researching and finding out the pros and the cons of this project. And I don't see many negatives. I know the traffic is going to slow down for a little bit, but at the end of the day, we're going to have a beautiful project. We're going to put people to work, and I'm excited about that. So.
I thank you very, very much.